Hello and welcome. My name is Grace. This is my channel, and today I thought I would break the ice because in case you've been watching me for a few minutes, you know I haven't been on for quite some time. And I need to get back into it because I actually enjoy it. But there was a time, like the last 6 months, where I wasn't feeling it, and now I'm feeling it again, and I want to talk about stuff. So the first thing is an announcement, and it is like shameless self-promotion. On Wednesday, I received my author's copies of Living Folk Magic, which is my second book that is being released November 3rd, 2025. So on November 3rd, this is coming out. And it's the project that I had been working on the last, in 2024 and then part of 2025. So I'm pretty excited. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited. I guess it's always exciting, right? When you see something you're working on come to life. So yeah, here it is. Some people have already received their copy. Some places are already shipping. Of course, I'm going to recommend, I should hold it up here because it's a beautiful cover. The person who did the art on this cover just did a phenomenal job. I'm so happy with it. It is already, I think it's already available to ship if you order from the publisher, Wiser Books. But it is going to be released worldwide, I guess, in all the places that sell books on November 3rd. So, yeah, Living Folk Magic. And I am going to be on a podcast November 2nd. I will put the details down below, not to get it wrong. I think it's Inner Alchemy, is Jen Michaels' channel, like podcast. But don't take my word for it. Look for the information down below, and that's gonna be November 2nd. So yeah, so it's been a year, people. It's been a year. I think my last video I already shared, but like after I shared that video, then I experienced a few other losses. So it's been, as far as the interaction I used to have with sisters in the craft, it's gone pretty silent, except for the ones that are still around. But I lost all my mentors, people, all in this year. People I looked up to, people that were role models in the craft, especially in the Italian-American aspect or the Italian-Canadian aspect of the craft, but also, I really took it hard. I lost my sister in the craft who we had started this journey together. And anyways, none of them are here to, for me to send them a copy of my book kind of thing. So, there it is. All right. So, all right. Sorry, I knocked the microphone. Okay. So I'm sorry if that was like obnoxious. So yeah, I don't have to tell you, but I'm going to say it because then it helps me calm down a little bit. I am like really, really out of practice speaking in front of a camera and knowing where to look and knowing what to say. So I thought, because in this past year, I have really, really appreciated my friends out there that are still putting out content with their, regarding their spiritual practice and their tarot practice and all that stuff. So I thought I would take a page out of their book and share with you what I'm doing, like which decks I'm working with. So, so what I did was, I hadn't done this in ever. I'm not even sure I ever did this and stuck to it. So far it's October 19th when I record this, and I'm a little stunned. A little stunned that I stuck to it. But I selected, I think it's 5 decks that I just to work with those 5 to inject a little bit of levity, a little lightheartedness into this season, because I needed some lightheartedness. And so I'm going to share what those decks are, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what my tarot and spiritual practice has looked like in 2025 so far, because I have to say that I think starting in February, maybe even like early March, I experienced a shift. I went inward a lot. I withdrew from the world. Like I still maintained somewhat of a presence on Instagram and occasionally on Facebook. Facebook is for for IRL friends and family and stuff like that. So, but Instagram, I tried to maintain a little bit of a presence there, and sharing things and being present in the world. And I'm saying a lot, but I think I always have, and I'm not going to change now, right? So here we are. I'm not a professional, I'm not a public speaker or anything like that. I'm just someone who wants to talk about the stuff they're excited about. All right. So the 5 decks. So the 5 decks I chose to work with exclusively, to read with exclusively, but also for magical practice, are, and I'll start with, there are 2 tarot decks and 3, I guess it's 3 oracle decks, but one of them could also be, it's kind of Lenormand-ish. Pardon me. But I don't read them. I don't do the Le Grand Tableau or anything like that. I just read them. I do a 3-card like oracle kind of reading. So first I'm going to describe, so how do I, because it's tarot and oracle. What I do, and I've always done, but I've done it a lot this year, like it has been like a staple, is I will draw an oracle card. And then I will and the oracle cards, so I try to stick to oracle decks that are quite open-ended in terms of their messages, right? None of those oracle decks that have like sentences or anything like that on them, just very open-ended. One keyword. Sometimes it's just the name of the animal. Like if it's an animal deck, then it's just the name of the animal, but I don't think I have those anymore, because also, at some point, I'll probably talk a little bit about how I curated my collection and what that looks like right now. But let's just stick to the task at hand and October decks. So, of course, I went with. I was talking about what I do is I will draw an oracle card, and that oracle card will set the tone, or will be the subject matter of the reading with tarot. So some people on the internet and on social media, they refer to oracle cards or oracle decks as being clarifiers for tarot. For me, that doesn't, it's not, that's not how it works. For me, I find tarot needs no clarification. For me, it's oracle cards that require more fleshing out, more expanding on a theme. I've never experienced where an oracle card has clarified a reading. But I also suspect that we're saying the same thing. We're just approaching it from a different angle. Hear me out. I've thought about it, and I thought, okay, well, if you draw the oracle card afterwards, isn't to clarify the reading. I'm starting to think it's the same thing that I do, only in a different order. where I will draw the oracle card first to establish the subject of the reading or what I'm delving into, the energies present in my life at that time, or things that I need to address, or something, or a subject matter that needs to be expanded on. And then the tarot cards, flesh it out for me. Perhaps what other people are doing when they say, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, in the comments, like share with me your experience, like how you view it. Perhaps what they're doing is the same thing I'm doing, only in reverse order, where they have the tarot reading, and then the oracle card, does it confirm for you the crux of the reading? So yeah, please share, because at first I thought, oh no, I do it completely different, and now I'm starting to think, well, no, perhaps, like upon reflecting, perhaps we're doing the same thing, just in a different order. Okay, how many times I have to repeat myself? Okay, let's start with the first tarot deck I selected to read with exclusively in October is the Halloween Tarot. Now, I've had this one. I've had, not this physical copy, but I've had a copy of the Halloween Tarot since it was first came out. But in the 90s, I viewed it as a novelty deck, and I also felt like it didn't read well for me. It didn't give me good readings, and it could be prejudice too, where I'm approaching it thinking it's a novelty deck and not giving it a chance. So that could be it. But I know you guys have seen this already before, but here we go. I've been using just the Halloween Tarot. Sorry, it's not going to be like, it's not really a flip through. It's just me to be able to show you something while I'm talking, so I could fidget, right? Exclusively as my tarot deck this month. And I should have known that if I put in the work, okay, if I give it attention, that I would be able to see that it actually reads really, really well for me. It's, but also, not only does it read really well for me, but it also could be a season of my life that I'm going through right now. I find that it gives me very profound insight, like really profound insight, that I think it could be that the childlike, the whimsical art, like, the fact that the theme and all that stuff probably disarms me and allows me to just relax into the reading and glean those more profound insights and lessons. So the Halloween Tarot. And I have two copies. I have obviously this one that's intact. And then I also have one that I modified ages ago. This one's, I took all the white borders off the backs and the front of the card. You know what I mean? The white border, right? Like, I took all the white off the card. And I find sometimes visually, depending on the oracle deck that I'm using in the same card draw, I prefer the visual of the lightness that the white borders bring to this. It lightens it, not just in light as in like light, but also as in light as in not heavy, right? Not that this one is heavy, but I don't know, it has a different character. And I find that sometimes I want this one instead. Now I prefer my tarot cards to have borders around each card, but I had modified this one ages ago, probably 5 years ago, and it's fun. It's fun. Like I said, sometimes it's the mood that I'm looking for, and because someone has asked me, and I'm not sure if I replied on Instagram about someone had left a comment a while back, or they messaged me and they said that when they trimmed, they wanted to know they trimmed theirs, that they still had like traces of white on the backs. I just trimmed from the back, so because I had trimmed from the back, I did lose a little bit in the image of the card, but it doesn't matter because, it's a hair. It's a hair. But there you go. That's my... Okay. Enough of that. Oh, no, I lie. 3 tarot decks and 3 oracle decks. Okay. What else? So I've been finding that what I do is... Okay, I'll show you one of the oracle decks I'm working with. So this is... Okay, guys, I love the series. I have all 3 of this series. The Witch's Familiars, and I'm also using the Witch's Wisdom. And I love these. These things came out, I think, in the late 2010s. I think 2018, 2019, around there. But they are so 90s. These are so 90s. So for an example of what I've been doing is I'll draw a card, and I've posted some of my readings on Instagram. So if you want to go take a look and see, and so I draw a familiar. So, look at that, Black Cat, Independence. And then my tarot reading is informed by the oracle card. So I would say, okay, well, the message from my familiars, or the deck of Witch's Familiars, is independence. And then I draw typically two tarot cards. So let's do it live. There we go. Let me mix, because I know this is not the format to do this. It should be with the camera and over the table and everything, but I didn't know what I was doing today, guys. I'm just happy to be here, honestly. So here I go. So for the familiar, so I drew the card Independence, the Black Cat, right? So the message is independence, and it would be, and these are the two tarot cards that I pulled. So I would look at that and say, okay, well, the familiar is telling me that I need to focus on independence. Let's say it's my weekly draw, right? I need to focus on independence this week, and it needs to be like to think for myself, and to make a decision on my own, not asking other people's opinion, and then to move forward with that, because I should be confident in the fact that I have the ability to make this decision, even if it's not fully informed, even without all the information. I do have the mental capacity and the knowledge and the cognitive ability, and also the foresight. And I know what I want to achieve from whatever this decision is that I want to make. To be able to I need to be able to make that decision on my own, and not listen to the noise. Not listen to the noise of other people. You want to see the little, look at this. not to let the noise of other people's opinions or other people's ideas or other people's or what I think. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you got to make a decision not knowing the full story. Sometimes you have to jump into something not knowing the full story. And you have to trust your gut instinct, but you also have to trust your own ability to see a pattern and imagine the outcome, more or less, right? So that's how I've been reading for myself in the last 6 months with tarot and oracle cards. So there's the Witch's Familiar and the Witch's Wisdom, which I'm going to talk about later. The last one I'm going to talk about later because they're a certain vibe. Like, Witch's Familiar is quite a 90s vibe. Again, I have some new decks that I've brought into my hovel, my deck collection, whatever we call this. But a lot of them are some that I've had for quite some time. And this one again, I'm pretty sure this one's 2018, and it's got a very 90s vibe with the type of art. And some of this art is very crunchy, people, very, very crunchy. But it's also endearing. And okay, it could also be the place that I'm in because I miss my sisters in the craft, and especially one that we started up together, especially with in the 90s. So a lot of this 90s kitsch makes me feel close to her, makes me feel that she is close to me. So yeah. Again, I'm not doing an infomercial for decks, people. It's just that I figure that if you're looking for some 90s kitsch, if you're feeling nostalgic, these do not disappoint. And I will leave it on Snake. So that's what I've been doing for my readings. And I've also been using these same decks for goal setting readings, where I will ask for guidance on how to proceed regarding a decision that I need to make. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people, and I've been reading cards like forever, my God. I've never been one of those people that make my decisions based on what my card reading tells me. And I don't think anyone should do that either. But I do use card reading, tarot reading specifically, to aid me in finding any blind spots. It's like, what? So I will draw cards and ask questions like, what am I not seeing? What am I not considering? This is the goal I want to attain. Show me what I haven't considered yet, or what can help me. Show me what it is that I do that hinders me, right? Because I gotta tell you, people, I'm really good at hindering me. But anyway. The next deck, so I'll leave my two really kitsch ones, but this one's a little kitsch too. So this one, my friend, I think you're watching. A friend of mine sent this to me. My friend, not a friend of mine. My friend sent this to me, okay? He's a real mensch. I love him to bits. He sent this to me, and I was like, why? What's wrong with you? I hate this thing. It's hideous. Well, if any of you watch Seinfeld, there's that episode where George Costanza wants to get this woman interested in him, and he figures that just being around like a TV commercial by Menon, Costanza. So yeah, this will only make any sense to anyone who watches Seinfeld. Well, this is what this deck was for me. It just sat on a shelf. I think you sent it to me 2 years ago. I think it's 2 years. It sat on a shelf, and every time I opened it up, it's like we didn't get along. I don't know. It was just I'll tell you what the main issue was for me. There is a finish on these cards, and I forget what I think it's called gold. No, not gold. Cold stamping, which makes them. This is what they look like. Okay, this is what they normally look like. You have to kind of angle them to be able to see the cards. Anyway, the cold foiling, I think that's what it's called. My gosh, please correct me in the comments, okay, if I have it wrong. I gotta tell you, it gets on my nerves. It really does. Because, if I'm wanting to read cards, I want to be able to freaking see them. So what I did was, this October, I said, you know what, I'm going to give it a chance. And I guess because I gave it a chance, I'm also kind of feeling a little drawn to my other roots. So those of you who've been watching me for a long time or been following my work or whatever, I'm the daughter of Italian immigrants, but my mother is from was from northeastern Italy. Her people are from Venezia Giulia, but she herself was born in Istria. So there's a lot of Slavic influence in that part of the world. It's very Slavic. Even the Italians are very Slavic. So there's a lot of crossover and whatever. And I think that's what I was feeling when these finally clicked for me. And yeah. So I've been reading with this deck in the month of October, and I think I've warmed up to it. I think I like them. I think I like it. I have to show you my favorite card, which I'm going to check first to see because I wasn't paying attention to what I was flipping. Let me see if I already showed you. But there is a card in here that, okay, no, I didn't show you. That I didn't know was in the deck because, again, I was very prejudiced when I got this. I looked through it and said, oh my God, quante brut. Hideous, whatever it is I said. And it's not like the art is hideous. It's just the whole not being able to see the images, depending on, most of the time, the way the light hits it. And some of the people, some of the characters are, jarring, how they look. And, oh my gosh, I just want to show you Three of Pentacles is my guy. That's the monster from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it before because I've told everybody. I tell everybody any opportunity I have that Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is my favorite novel of all time. That I've read it numerous times, and every time I read it, I get something different from it. Sometimes when I read it, I identify with Victor Frankenstein. Another time I'll read it and I identify with Frankenstein's monster. So, yeah. And then, or other characters or whatever. So, So, my friend, if you're watching, thank you. And Costanza. Okay. And now the last two I wanted to share because this is by the same people that make Witches Familiar. So there's Witches Familiars, Witches Kitchen, which I also have, but I'm not reading with this month, and Witches Kitchen. Oh my God, people. Sorry, there's a hair in it. This is very Wicca coded. Like, this deck is Wicca coded. Like, it's not ambiguous at all. But some of us that we started out with, the whole exploring witchcraft in the 90s, in the early 90s, Wicca was what was really what all the books were about, right? We were reading books by Scott Cunningham and Doreen Valiente, and anyway. So this Oracle deck has a very Charmed, the TV show, vibe, more than the movie. Like, the movie is a different vibe than the TV show. This is a very Charmed, the original TV show from the 90s vibe. And it's very Wicca coded, but it also, guys, it reminds me of my sisters. It reminds me of my sisters. I feel close to them. And I'm going to stop right here because this is one of the cards that really, it just reminds me of, when we were first exploring witchcraft, and at the time it was like witchcraft and Wicca were kind of conflated, and that excitement and that whole vibe. So this is the other deck I've been using, and I've been really enjoying that. It's like a walk down memory lane, right? Can't believe it was 30 years ago already. That's insane to me. I don't feel 30 years wiser, that's for sure. So the other one I wanted to share, and this is made by, this is the Witchery Oracle. Okay, this I purchased it. Oh yeah, I purchased all these decks except for the Bohemian Gothic that my friend so generously gifted me. This is made by, I'm pretty sure the creator of this deck is also the owner of thewitchery.ca, which is an online witchcraft store in Canada, out of Edmonton, Alberta. And she is of, or they, I'm not sure, are of Ukrainian descent. And it's a very interesting online store if you have an opportunity to check it out. And she makes a lot of decks, I find, but this is the one that I got. I got this one, and it's, anyway, sorry, I showed it to you already, right? Okay. And it's Lenormand. Like, there's a lot of Lenormand, like there's the writer, right? But the photography is just moody. It's just moody. It's perfect for this time of year, but I also love it in the summer when I'm feeling like I'm hating the heat and the smoke and all that stuff. I wonder if that's the creator. I'm not sure, but anyway. So this is what they look like. It's very moody, and it reads like a hot damn. First of all, anything that is Lenormand reads like a hot damn. The only reason I'm going to mention it just in case you're watching me for the first time. The only reason I don't like Lenormand is that I find that it's a little it punches you in the face with the message, and sometimes I don't want to be punched in the face with the message, right? And also, Lenormand tends to be one of those, I'm pretty sure, without even knowing, that it was designed to instill fear in the querent. So they come back for more. Another reading, a service, pay the fortune teller, toss a coin to their witcher, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, oh, sorry. Those are the backs. Look at them. Oh my God. So yeah, so I've been reading with these, and I don't do a grand tableau or anything like that. 3 cards. It's a 3-card. I do a 3-card spread. That's usually my thing. I don't even call it past, present, future or anything. I don't call it anything. It's 3 cards to tell me what's going on, right? And when I put down 3 cards, whether they're tarot, whether they're oracle cards, whether they're these, right? I don't read them left to right. I read them, the first card that draws my attention. So the first card my eyes are drawn to. Pardon me. Had to hold in a cough. Okay, it's good. We're almost there. The first card, what I was saying was the first card that draws my eye, or draws my attention. I start with that one, and then I scan the other cards. So suppose the card on the right is the first card that draws my attention. Then I'll scan and look at the card at the far left. And then I'll compare, and I'll not compare, but I'll interpret the card in the middle as being, okay, so the card on the right is what the reading's about. The card on the left is telling me what influences surrounded. The card in the middle is telling me what's really going on, you know? But these aren't hard and fast rules, because sometimes the card in the middle gets my attention first, or sometimes I do read. No, I lie. You know what I rarely do is read left to right. Now that I think about it, I rarely read left to right when I draw 3 cards. So that's interesting. But anyway, these are really, really nice, and I've been really enjoying them because they're they're very Lenormand coded. They have like she's changed some of the names on the cards and stuff like that, but it's very Lenormand coded. When you want to know what's going on, it gives you the straight dope. So you got to be in the mood to get the straight dope. So that, I think, is pretty much it for me right now. Oh, no, I did want to talk a little bit more about what my tarot practice has looked like in terms of spirituality. I have always, when receiving messages from spirit, when channeling, or what do we even call that, right? Like I call it receiving a transmission from spirit. I often have the experience of the message coming through other, like through art, whether it's poetry, music, a combination of the two. Folklore, any other, like classic literature is a big one for me, and I find that this is because I've been spending a lot of time in solitude, instead of talking about my practice, but just being in my practice, that I've discovered how much when I draw cards. So so tonight, let's say I'm going to draw my cards and do the oracle card and the 2 tarot cards, and often I share it on not all the time, not every reading gets shared on Instagram, but if you're curious to see what it looks like, what I'm doing, I do show a little bit of it on Instagram, where I'll attach the music that like the song or the musical piece. A lot of it is classical music, and then I'll also include the poetry or a quote from literature, modern, classic. I don't discriminate. And the music and the poetry or the quote will convey the message that I'm receiving from the card reading. And oh my gosh, people, it's something I used to do, but never externalized it to the point where I never externalized it. So I didn't, and I never explored this mechanism like I have this year, where it really, like, by externalizing it and sharing some of it on Instagram, talking about it a little bit with friends, I'm finding that it's really deepened my appreciation for tarot, as it is the book of life. 78 cards of symbolism and symbols and parables. They're all in the cards, man. It's all there. The themes. If we want to use psychology, psychological language, archetypes, it's all in there. And I'm just finding that it's allowing me to explore some deeper subjects, right? Some deeper insights. And again, like I said, I've been in a very reflective kind of year. Okay, there's the grief, right? But one thing I wanted to share before I wrap up this video is that in December of 2024, every December, I pull out my Living Altar Oracle. And that's the one that I go to every December for the last 5 years. It's going to make 6 years this year, I think. Is where I select my word of the year randomly. I shuffle them however I can because they're like massive. Pardon me. And I and I draw a card, and that card is my word of the year. I've been doing this for like at least 5 years, as long as I've had the deck. Last year I drew winter, and I thought, and I always remember my reaction when I draw these words of the year, because my first reaction is always I roll my eyes. I'm by myself and I roll my eyes at myself. Anyway, and I thought, winter? Let's see if winter as a word of the year? Man, has it ever been winter? It has been a year of winter, a year of endings. Now in numerology, 2025 is 9, and 9 is endings and completion and all that stuff in numerology. I can't do the math on the fly for my birthday, but it doesn't matter because I'm feeling more the energy of 2025, which is endings, winter. So it's been a year of winter for me. Things ending. Not just people leaving. I lost a family member and 3 dear friends. My dog is elderly, and she's struggling. Eventually, sometime near future, sooner rather than later, we're gonna have to make that decision, the humane decision, right? So when you lose people, you also lose you see, you lose the person, right? But you also, that's not the only, it's not just the people that leave. They take something with them, and they take a part of you. They take that part of you with them that only they knew. And once they go, and they've taken that part of you that only they knew, you're left with the work of figuring out who you are without that part of you. I don't know, I hope that makes sense. So that's been the vibe of this year for me, is a lot of things ending. I used to be the baby. Okay, I exaggerate, but no, really, I was the baby because my spiritual sisters, sorry, were they were older than me. I looked up to them. They were, they were my role models. They were my mentors. They were the elders. Guys, yeah. So I've been like spending a lot of time pondering, well, my place now is front and center, in terms of being the elder in my circle. And I'm an elder now, which I don't want to be an elder. So yeah, so that's been, so the word of the year has been winter. Everything, like just all these endings. It's 2025 has been the year of le dénouement. You know what I mean? That's in a story, right? When you have the dénouement, you have the climax of the story and then the dénouement. And that's where I'm at. And I did a reading that I posted on Instagram. I think it was last week, where the witch's wisdom was Imok, was the card in the middle, the oracle card, right? And it was the world and the Nine of Pentacles. And that to me was a sign that even the denouement, even a year of endings, eventually has to end. And winter eventually comes to an end and, releases its grip to spring. So here I am, and I'm hoping that that's what's happening, because, like I said, it's been winter all 2025. So, having said that, thank you all, dear friends and listeners and viewers, for being there. Thank you for sticking around and reaching out to me while I was silent on YouTube. I appreciate it. But also tell me how you're doing. I really, really want to know how you're doing. Have you, because it's 2025, right? It's not like my specific birthday and the year. It's the year. This year is 2025, and we could see just from what's going on in the world at large that there's a lot of endings. There's a lot of loss. There's a lot of things that are gone that weren't gone in 2024, but now in 2025 are gone. How are you guys doing? I know for certain I'm not the only person going through a season of loss, or rather a year of loss. I know I'm not the only person going through a personal winter. And I also know that I'm not the only person who has gone a little more solitary with, or a little more inward in their spirituality. So again, because I'm doing the Italian American thing that it takes me forever to say goodbye. Thank you again, all, for being here. Let me know in the comments how you're doing. If I don't manage to comment on each and every one of your comments, know that I do read them all and I will try to heart them. And until I see you next time, which I'll see you in the next video, I'd like to wish you, wherever you are in the world, a beautiful day, and stay safe. Love you.